Well, it's championship week in the NFL. 2 games, 4 teams. The winner of each moves on to play in a couple of weeks in the Super Bowl. Buckle up. Might not be the matchups you wanted, or maybe it was, but they're the matchups you got. Let's hope this week we get some good games. Let's hope we do. And more importantly, for some of you, you're probably hoping with fingers crossed and whole rings puckered, please don't pick my team, Jeff. Please don't pick my team, Jeff. I'll do anything you ask. Just please do not put the Jeff JINX on him. Well, too bad. Some of you are going to be happy, and some of you are going to be worried like hell come Sunday because I picked your team to win. The Jeff JINX can't last forever. Can it? Can it? Well, you look at my life and you probably say, yeah, it actually can. Nonetheless, let's talk about these 2 matchups. Starting off with the early matchup on Sunday, the AFC Championship game. The Tennessee Titans were on a bit of a roll as a 6th seed, winning 2 straight road games in the playoffs. First, beating the New England Patriots, and then last week, smashing the Dickens out of the Baltimore Ravens. Now they roll into Kansas City with a whole lot of momentum. Here are the Kansas City Chiefs on the flip side, hosting the AFC Championship game and looking to avenge what happened last year in the AFC Championship game and move on to the Super Bowl. And in terms of the keys to success, you look at this for Tennessee, you got to get Derrick Henry going on the ground early and often. Got to make this a physical battle, win at the contact scrimmage, get Derrick Henry going, slow the game down. The amount of time that the Chiefs offense has the ball,
put more pressure on Andy Reid as a play caller, put more pressure on Patrick Mahomes in that situation. And a key way to do that is to run the football defensively. Got to get after Patrick Mahomes early, disrupt the rhythm and timing of this Chiefs offense. Got to try and entice him to run. That sounds crazy. The Chiefs aren't a great running team. Andy Reid does not have a great desire to run the football, especially in these big games. He tends to be very pass happy. So in order to do that, you might want to think about double teaming Travis Kelce and or Tyreek Hill. Do you really think the Chiefs will beat you on the ground? Probably not. I might be trying to gear up specifically to stop the pass and force the Chiefs to do something they don't want to do, which is run the football a lot in order to beat you. Because I don't know if the running game could beat you, but Travis Kelce and or Tyreek Hill can certainly beat you because you know sure as hell that Patrick Mahomes can beat you. And as far as the Chiefs go, you got to avoid the face plant you had last week, because if you do that, the Titans are going to be able to play a style of football that you won't be able to come back on. They just will. They'll keep running. They'll grind you down. They'll put you in a bad spot. They'll be able to come after Mahomes, and it just won't be good. You cannot face plant to start off the game like you did last week. Got to have receivers catch the damn football. That would be nice. You have to force the Titans to grind it out and play from behind. The Chiefs have to figure out a way to get going early. The Chiefs have to figure out a way to hit a big play or 2 down the field in the first quarter, get that lead early, and set the tempo, establish the rhythm of the game, and force Ryan Tannehill to be a little uncomfortable, get out of that game management kind of mindset, and you got to put the game in his hands and say, hey, you can't just run Derrick Henry down our throat and beat us. Your quarterback's going to have to do it. If the Chiefs' defense can do that, even though they've really struggled against the run this year, if they can find a way offensively to get out to a little bit of an early lead to the point where the Titans feel a little pressure to not run so much with Derrick Henry, it can be really hard to stay disciplined with that run game, then the Chiefs are going to be set up in a really, really good spot. I look at this matchup and I say, if I was the Chiefs, I probably would have rather played the Ravens than I would have the Titans. Because this Titans team has a lot of momentum right now. Even though they weren't a great team in the regular season, it was hard to know what to get from them from one week to the next. It was one of those teams that you felt like, with their ability to play defense, their ability to run the ball with Derrick Henry and the hot streak that he's on, that this is a team you do not want to face in the playoffs. But then you also have Patrick Mahomes, who, if he can get off to a better start, and that's some of the thing in some of these big playoff games, him and the offense tends to start off really, really slowly. Once they figure it out, once they click and get into that rhythm, man, it is something truly special to watch. If they can come out of the gates early and they can put some points up on the board and put some pressure on the Titans, this thing could get ugly in a big hurry.
I know the NFL is probably sitting there clutching their buttholes saying, we don't want the Tennessee Titans in the Super Bowl. But I will tell you this much, as a 6th seed, if they got there, that means they had to beat 3 straight very, 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 very good teams, 3 straight divisional winners, and you talk about not just any 3 divisional winners, but you're talking about a Tom Brady and Bill Belichick led New England Patriots offense, a Baltimore Ravens team led by the MVP of the league, and then a Kansas City Chiefs team with the league MVP from last year. Like, that would be something special, and I don't think it's going to happen. I know the Chiefs are 7-point favorites here, and frankly, they should be. This feels like the Cinderella run may come to an end. Because I'm sorry, you can only go by for so long in the playoffs having a quarterback that you can have throw for under 100 yards. And I just don't think you're going to be able to get away with that in this game against the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game probably 30-13 and move on to face somebody in the Super Bowl. Who? Well, let's talk about it. You look at the other game, the keys to success for Green Bay against that really tough San Francisco defense. They've got to find a way to get Aaron Jones going in the running game because Aaron Rodgers has not been what he once was a few years back. He's not the same level of guy from a pure play standpoint. He is no longer truly elite. This team is built differently. They win differently than they would have in years past. And one key to that is they have to get Aaron Jones established on the ground, which is something they weren't able to do consistently in the first matchup in the regular season when the 49ers beat the brakes off them 35-8. They need somebody else other than Davante Adams to step up and be a threat in the passing game. Now, even assuming they try to keep Davante Adams away from Richard Sherman by lining him up all over the field, or even if he just doesn't naturally line up against him a lot because he's on the other side, somebody else is still going to have to step up and be a weapon in that receiving core for Aaron Rodgers outside of Davante Adams. Is it Alan Lazard? Is it, oh my God, Geronimo Allison? Is it Jimmy Graham? Somebody's going to have to step up and make some plays. Defensively, the Smith brothers, Preston and Sedarius, are going to have to get some pressure on Jimmy G. Those 2 guys have been great signings for this Packers organization this season, both in double-digit sacks, and they've been difference makers. They've been keys to this 13-3 Packers season that has them on the cusp of appearing in yet another Super Bowl. But they got to be able to get pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo and then potentially take advantage of opportunities that Jimmy G and that 49ers offense might give them. The fact of the matter remains is there are a couple of throws each game typically that Garoppolo is going to give you. You have chances to turn the ball over. If you can take advantage of those and not get shredded against a less than stellar skill group for the 49ers, outside of George Kittle, of course, who was a stud, you're going to need those turnovers on the road to make a difference and help you get some momentum. Got to be able to take, if Jimmy G throws it up and it's in your vicinity and you have a chance to make a play, you got to be able to make a play. Their defense, though, has to be better against the run. If I'm a Packers fan, I'm really, really nervous about them facing off against this 49ers offensive line and this running game with this tandem of backs, specifically Tevin Coleman and Raheem Mostert. That's not even throwing Matt Breida into the conversation. Like, you look at this game and you say the 49ers should be able to run the ball and run the ball with relative ease against the Packers. If the Packers can figure out a way to adjust their game plan, maybe they try to stack the box a little bit, change some of the things they do to force Jimmy G to beat them. That's certainly what I would do at this point. If they don't, the 49ers are going to have a big day and probably win this game going away. And most importantly of all, Aaron Rodgers has to play elite again. He hasn't been elite. His numbers aren't bad, but it's just not the same guy. Like, Aaron Rodgers needs to be the type of guy in this game Sunday evening that you sit there and say, because Aaron Rodgers is there, they have a chance to win the game. And even when you look at last Sunday's game against the Seahawks, like, you almost felt like you said that more about a Russell Wilson and saying, well, they have Russell Wilson, so they have a chance, than they do an Aaron Rodgers, where you just almost feel like, in some ways, as weird as it is to say, that he's kind of along for the ride. He's not totally along for the ride, but I hope I'm explaining what I mean here. But they need Aaron Rodgers to be elite. They need Aaron Rodgers to be that dude. They need Aaron Rodgers to be that first ballot Hall of Fame guy here. If he is, the Packers absolutely can go in to San Francisco, Santa Clara, or whatever the hell, and come out with a victory. They certainly can. And you would think what's weird for Rodgers is a guy that should be pissed, and you would think based off of the levels of petty you've heard explained about him over the years, that he would still be angry all these years later that the 49ers took Alex Smith over him, number 1 overall in the 2005 NFL Draft. And yet his history has not been good against the 49ers. Is this the time that he finally exercises some of those previous playoff demons? And for the 49ers, you look at them, the key to their success, flat out period, is that front four. They can get after it. They can wreak havoc when they're coming after the passer, in this case Aaron Rodgers. They can wreak havoc against opposing running games. That front four is what makes that 49ers defense great. It's that front four that makes them a legit threat to win the Super Bowl. It's absolutely. And then you got somebody like a Richard Sherman. You're going to take away basically one half of the field in the passing game. So that defense, that towards the end of the season, it felt like that while they had some injuries, teams were starting to figure them out a little bit. There are still vulnerabilities there. If they can play like the elite level defense they flashed as at certain points in time throughout the season, that's going to be a really hard day for Aaron Rodgers and that Green Bay Packers offense. Offensively, the 49ers have got to get Coleman and Mostert going on the ground. If they do that, it takes pressure off of Jimmy G. If they do that, it helps them control the game. If they do that, it's going to wear down the Packers defense. It's going to be a very long day for the Packers. And most importantly of all, I think, Jimmy G has to manage the game and avoid the back-breaking mistakes. And you're going to say, well, you're just picking on Jimmy G. Yeah, because he feels like he's the single biggest reason that this team would not make it to the Super Bowl at this point. Like, let's be real. It's not like he was all that particularly great against the Vikings last week. He did enough, but he's not great. There are multiple throws a game typically that he throws, and you have to hold on and hope that it doesn't get picked off. Like, he does not have to be great. I want to emphasize this right now. He does not have to be great. What he has to avoid being is reckless and back-breaking bad. And you say, well, why would you say he's going to do that? This team just wins with him. Yeah, but at some point in time, what happens if the 49ers defense struggles a little bit? What happens if Aaron Rodgers hits you early and they put a couple of touchdowns up on the board and you got to start coming from behind a little bit? You got to get outside of your rhythm and out of your comfort zone. Do you really have faith that Jimmy G is going to get the job done? Now, when I look at this game right now, crazier things can happen, but I just can't envision. I mean, the 49ers kicked the crap out of the Packers in the regular season. How much has really fundamentally changed since what happened back then? This 49ers defensive front four is dominant. That 49ers defense is more than certainly capable. The 49ers have enough in the running game, and with George Kittle and a couple of other guys like Emmanuel Sanders and Deebo Samuel in the passing game, they have enough weapons to be able to get the job done. Kyle Shanahan is a quality enough play caller that I look at this and I say, you know what? It's really hard to deny him. And ultimately, either way, I don't win no matter who wins this game. Because it's either Aaron Rodgers and the Packers make it to the Super Bowl, which makes me want to vomit, or I'm going to have to hear for a couple of weeks about how Jimmy G led the 49ers to the Super Bowl and how great he is and how I was all wrong about him. And that also is going to make me want to vomit. So no winners here for me. Just whoever wins in the AFC, please, oh God, win the dang Super Bowl. And as far as those that think that this is in the tank, that it's Chiefs versus Packers because it's going to be the State Farm Bowl and they want to tie back into Super Bowl I, the original matchup, the Packers and the Chiefs, I don't know about all that. Because the 49ers have a really big fan base, too, that goes nationwide. The 49ers would do big numbers in the Super Bowl. Green Bay Packers would. If you wanted to say you think the NFL would do what they could to make sure that the Titans didn't make the Super Bowl, that I'll give you. That makes sense. But as far as anything else, yeah, I love a good conspiracy, but I just don't think that one makes a whole lot of sense. So let me know who you think is going to end up winning in the AFC and NFC Championship game and going on to face off against each other in 2 weeks in the Super Bowl.